visited Central America, and I've also gone to Japan. I've gone to Australia and New Zealand. When a student decides that they are going to go out of the country, I think one of the first things they should do is to go to the website cdc.gov/travel. There is a wealth of information on that website. When a student is traveling abroad, it's important to know what vaccines that they need or medications. So, and at the health center, we do provide immunizations for travel abroad, and they need to finish those 2 weeks. Optimally, it's 2 weeks before their travel date. And then in addition to that, if they need malaria medication, we can also help them with that. We have a travel nurse that they can call and set up an appointment. And for missions, it doesn't cost them anything. The vaccines cost, but just the service itself is free. They may want to look at getting prescription medicine for diarrhea, traveler's diarrhea. If they're going to altitudes, they may need a prescription for that as well. They also may want to discuss over-the-counter medications, and there's also certain countries that there's medication that is not allowed to come in, and so going to their embassy website would be the way to find out whether or not you could bring in a controlled substance, or whether or not you could bring in Sudafed or any kind of stimulant. So rest is going to be key, so especially with jet lag situation. You want to get rest beforehand. You don't want to wait till the last minute to pack. You want to have most of that already organized and ready to go, and so that you can get plenty of rest and hydration, as well as eating well. Eating some balanced meals is going to be important. You may have to take some food that is more to your liking in case you go to an area that does not have what you need. Something that has some protein in it to keep you going. Hydration is going to be important. It's recommended that you hydrate the night before, and then on the way to the airport, at the airport, you need to drink at least 8 ounces per hour that you're on a plane. Drink your water and stay hydrated. They do have tablets that you can buy to clean your water. I think buying bottled water is probably the easiest to do. It really depends on the destination that you're going. They may have filtering systems where you're going. You do want to be careful. You don't want to, you want to be mindful not to drink water from the tap. You want to be mindful not to brush your teeth with water from the tap. In addition to not using any ice or any ice creams or because you just don't know if they use filtered water for the ice itself. So you're safe drinking probably a Coke out of a can. When dealing with mosquitoes, that is certainly a concern because mosquitoes carry a lot of diseases. So covering up is probably one of the best ways to prevent mosquito bites, and that would be like long sleeves, long pants. You can use, we say you can't beat DEET, so you can take some DEET with you. It needs to be at least 30% DEET. If you're going to an area that has malaria, you want to have a mosquito net to be able to sleep underneath. So if somebody has food allergies, it might be prudent to take an antihistamine with them. It could be Benadryl, it could be a Zyrtec or an Allegra, just some kind of an antihistamine. And then depending on how bad their allergies are, they may also want to take an EpiPen with them. probably the number one thing would be wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands, and then wash your hands again. And if you do not have access to soap and water, then this is always a good idea, hand sanitizer. I'm going to say hydration is a big factor on handling altitude sickness. If you're able to go up in a slow pace as well, sometimes when you land, you're already at the altitude that you're going to be, and you don't get that comfort or that ability to go slowly up. So that's why hydrating would be important. You can also, if you're going to be going to an area and you know that altitude sickness is a possibility for you, you can also get a prescription medication that can help with that. Worst case scenario, student gets sick. The first thing to do would probably be to tell your team leader. Your team leader should know where you need to go to seek higher level of care, so to speak. So when you're traveling back, as far as staying healthy, again, it's going to be the rest, it's going to be hydration, nutrition, taking your meds when you're supposed to. Key point I want to stress is on the malaria medication. That is something that you need to take completely all the way through. As far as coming back with a reverse culture shock, I think some of the things to help with that are going to be debriefing just with your team and your team leaders, journaling, I would say, of course prayer, and then one may want to even give a talk on where they went. Maybe there's a group that sponsored them that they could share their experience with that. And if someone is really struggling and having a hard time, they can always go to a counseling center and seek some help that way too. The tips that we've been talking about have been very helpful for me when I've had to travel abroad. They've helped my family as well to stay healthy. It is really important to be at your top when you go on these trips so that you can give your best of what God wants you to give and you can give Him glory.